What's up, guys? With the next battle report on the horizon, I figured I would release a video as I usually do for the week. This one, however, is a little different. I am a big fan of the Metroid series, having played most if not all the classics. Now, I know I'm not the first one to take a popular sci-fi property and insert it into 40k, but after I attempted to paint up a Samus-style Space Marine, I ended up liking the result far more than I expected, which led me to developing some lore for this would-be what-if Space Marine chapter. So I figured I would share the process and its results with you. So maybe this is the start of a new series, or maybe it's a one-off. Either way, it's something I found quite fun, and I hope it's well received. Let's dive into this faction concept for this Samus Aran inspired Space Marines chapter, the Sons of Aran. The first step was to identify the unique qualities of Samus, which would translate well to a Space Marines chapter. Keeping in mind both game mechanics and narrative, I determined the most fundamental qualities would be a chapter which specializes or has a preference for battling Xenos, a chapter whose combat doctrines make them effective environmental platformers, a chapter which has a preference for energy weapons, and lastly, I wanted to feature the iconic Metroid alien as well. With those goals qualified for the concept, what remained was to adapt it to the 40k setting without breaking the harder rules of the 40k universe. An example of this would be featuring Metroid-style alien helpers throughout the chapter, or leaning hard on the headcanon fan theory of Samus Aran serving as one of the lost Primarchs. With that in mind, I think where I landed is rather ideal. Here it goes. The Space Marines of the Sons of Aran originate from an unknown founding and have an unknown gene-sire. Their own records have been expunged, and the ones kept by the Ordo Malleus are sealed. What is known is their reputation as pragmatic warrior hunters, proficient in the art of battle against alien threats. Uniquely, they make their homeworld on the Forge World of Aran, from which they are named. Since humans first settled in this region of space, the sector has been plagued by villainous Eldari raiders, and it was this environment that tempered the chapter's origin. The raiders, being supernaturally agile, forced the Sons of Aran to evolve a combat doctrine that relied on the execution of tactical maneuvers delivered in sudden bursts. Among the most revered relics of the chapter is the Tome of the Hunter, an ancient repository containing detailed databanks on many xenospecies, as well as the doctrines and philosophy of the chapter. Following this ethos, the Sons of Aran do not feature the woven heraldry seen in many chapters, nor a librarius, instead preferring to leverage their mechanicum resources, making use of weaponry with higher energy output levels such as plasma, as well as benefiting from combat assistance via servo skulls fitted with Auspex arrays, which are commonly deployed in squad formations. Despite their accolades, the chapter is not without its shadows, as the Sons of Aran, as well as their Forge World, are often suspected of experimenting with Xenos technology, but due to their ties with the Ordo Malleus, many suspect the Inquisition turns a blind eye to what transpires within their forges. Overall, I think this lore fits the bill. Metroid fans will notice the Eldari Corsairs well reflect Samus's common confrontations with space pirates, and it also serves to facilitate the need to develop a combat style similar to Samus's, featuring sudden bursts of action. Situating them as part of a Forge World grants access to an abundance of energy weapons, as well as the Metroid-esque servo skulls which hang around the units being deployed, which I think makes a great quirk for an Astartes chapter. From a rules perspective, I leveraged the Successor chapter system from Codex Space Marines. The two traits I've gone with to represent the athleticism of the chapter are Rapid Assault, which allows units to advance and fire assault weapons without penalty, and Hungry for Battle, which allows a unit to add 1 to advance and charge rolls. Combined together, it creates some pretty clear synergy which will grant the Sons of Aran the ability to better traverse the battlefield while maintaining efficiency of their assault weapons. From a Successor perspective, there were several angles to justify many of the supplement toolkits. Initially, I did want the tactical doctrine to be their specialty, since it would further bolster assault weapons, which their chapter tactic is encouraging. This narrowed down the choices to Ultramarines, Salamanders, and Raven Guard. While the Salamander's tactical doctrine helps them hit harder, it benefits Flamers and Meltas only, and since the traits I selected don't encourage Flamers, and there are 0 Melta Primaris options, they were ruled out. The Ultramarines would be pretty nifty, but I didn't like how Scions of Guilliman was effectively encouraging my infantry to not advance. So they were out too. And even though the Raven Guard's surgical strikes can be leveraged while advancing, I found it to be far too niche, and ultimately I ended up landing on the White Scars toolkit. Yes, their Super Doctrine benefit doesn't align with assault weaponry, but I don't think it's that big of a deal. Should the need to leverage Devastating Charge arise, it will be quite easy to pop over to the Assault Doctrine since the Sons of Aran will likely be in the Tactical Doctrine most of the time. But more importantly, the White Scars toolkit offers some very notable tools I think are a great fit. A few notable stratagems are: Hunter's Fusillade allows a unit to advance and turn all of their weapons, regardless of their type, to the assault type. Ride Hard Ride Fast is used on one of your units which advances, and requires enemies to subtract 1 from hit rolls when targeting them. Fierce Rivalries allows the first charge made in a charge phase to be made with 3d6 instead of 2d6 and keeping the 2 highest. All of these stratagems are 1 command point, and all are strong and suitably thematic. But there's more. A few notable special issue war gear options include the Cyber Eagle Helm, which allows nearby units to overwatch on 5s and 6s, which nicely reflects Samus's scanning abilities. Stormwrath bolts can be used to fire a single bolt shot at strength 7, AP-1, and d6 damage if the target is a monster, turning a bolt weapon almost into a mini las cannon. But most intriguing is the White Scars core relic, Plume of the Plains Runner, which grants infantry units within 6 inches of the bearer an additional 1 to their advance and charge rolls, further boosting the +1 provided by our trait Hungry for Battle. This brings the standard infantry's advance activations to the 8 to 14 inch range, and while moving that far, they are firing at perfect efficiency with their assault weapons. Further still, if you opt for the Phobos Warlord trait Master of the Vanguard, Phobos units can claim a further +1 to advance and charge rolls, and increase their movement characteristic by 1 as well if they're within 6 inches of the Warlord. It's not a perfect toolkit, but there's some real fun synergy here, allowing for some very high mobility gameplay for Space Marine infantry, and I think it reflects the idea of an alien bounty hunting chapter quite well. And I think that brings this video to its end. Thanks for watching. I really fell in love with the concept of this one. From the interpretation of the paint scheme to the insert of its lore, and even the game mechanics, it's really grown on me. So, if there are any Metroid fans out there thinking of starting a Space Marines army, the Sons of Aran are here for your consideration. Personally, I would love to see an army, or even a kill team, of these Metroid Marines on the tabletop. Well, I hope you guys liked this video as much as I liked making it. If you did, hit that like button and leave a comment below. If you have any questions or suggestions, I'd be happy to hear them. And as always, subscribing is the best way to help this channel grow. Thanks again for watching, and I hope to see you guys in the next one.